All right, ladies and gentlemen, you see we got the old crusty Tacoma in here. This bad boy needs some new leaf springs. That's what happens when you put about 2 tons of gravel and about a bazillion bricks in the bed of this truck. I absolutely blew out my leaf springs. I can't really tell. Maybe you can. They're like essentially sitting flat right now, and when you try to drive, you get the worst axle wrap you've ever seen. The differential just dives up and down and basically makes your driveline 90-degree angle, and very not good. So yeah, that's a thing. I'll probably try to do a video on that. I got some long travel Deaver leaf springs on the way, some 62 inches for that bad boy. So that'll be fun to lay on the gravel and destroy my back. I'll enjoy that. But in the meantime, you see, to fit the truck in here, we had to absolutely destroy the garage as far as storage. So goal today is build some shelves. I'm gonna build like pretty shallow shelves because I don't like deep shelves. You put stuff up there, they get, you know, it gets lost in the back and you can't find it. So we're gonna try, I've never done this before, I'm just kind of making it up as I go. We're gonna try to make some shallow shelves, and I'll put a material list of what I got. I just randomly started grabbing stuff I thought I'd need. I have no plan whatsoever. But yeah, so I got everything 8-footers because, you know, my truck's broken, so I had to use the old work Civic, and thank goodness I got a hatchback because an 8-foot 2x12 goes all the way up to the front, you know, and I can just jam enough in there. So but just verbally, the material list is as follows. Let's start with the smallest. I got 3 2x4s, okay, 8 foot long, and I cut them in half because it was just the only way I could fit them in the Civic with all the other lumber in there. So 3 2x4s, and I just brought my circular saw to Home Depot and cut them in the parking lot like a redneck. But yeah, so I got the 3 2x4s. I got 3 2x6s, and I got 3 2x12s. So the 2x12s are going to be the shelves themselves. That's going to be like the, you know, it'll be 12 inches deep, roughly 12 inches deep. So yeah, that's where we're at. Goal now is I'm going to take the 2x6s and I'm going to cut them in half so they'll be 4 feet long, and I'm going to make like a 4 foot by 4 foot frame, kind of like a box essentially, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So yeah, and it's just occurred to me that you know, maybe don't listen to the verbal material list that I gave you because I may not use all this lumber. I just, like I said, I randomly grabbed stuff. But for clarification purposes also, this is not meant to be the most aesthetic, the most beautiful shelf you've ever seen. If you look around the garage, I just need something. So yeah, if you just want some functional shelves, and you can adjust the lumber for the size you need, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the frame out of the 2x6s, shelves out of 2x12s, use some 2x4s to, you know, I got block here. It's a block wall and some MDF over the windows, so I'm going to use some Tapcons, some concrete screws. I'll show those when I get there. But yeah, not the strongest thing, not the most beautiful thing, but it'll get the job done. All right, you see I slapped it together. I'm not even really too concerned about making sure if it's square or anything like that. You know, I could measure corner to corner, but who cares? I mean, this is a quick and dirty garage shelf, so the only thing we're going to level is we're obviously going to level out the shelves so everything doesn't slide to the middle or slide off, you know, but that's it. So now I got to go clear space in this terrible mess to get it in position on the wall there, so go do that. All right, so it's gonna go to the right of this here. You know, these little hardware organizers are gonna go to the right of that. So I'm gonna bring it in and kind of just test fit it up there. And we're gonna see what else we need to do to make it actually go in there. All right, so obviously that's very crooked, but yeah, I think maybe I should go 2 feet off the table, you know, a little higher. Maybe I'll just use something to kind of prop it up. So it's a little low for me. I want to bring that table up anyways because it's like bending over and your back is like a shrimp trying to work on anything on there. So I don't want to be shrimp backing it always. I might get a workbench or kind of raise that up or do something. But in the meantime, let's set the shelves up a little higher and see what that looks like. All right, so I brought the frame back outside, and I think we got a pretty good height on it, but the issue is when I go to, what I wanted to do is set the empty frame up here, mount the empty frame to the wall, and then come in from the side and screw into each shelf, so I can put the shelves in after the fact. But with this little support here, the way this block is, I'm not gonna be able to get a screw gun in there. So we might just have to get a little creative and maybe try to just put it up there and break my back because I'm just one guy. So I might try to lift the whole thing up, position it on this brand new paint sprayer I never used, and yeah, we'll see what we can figure out. In the meantime, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some of these 2x4s on the back here, and maybe one on the top, one on the bottom, and then you'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. But the 2x4s are going to be what we screw through to mount it to the block onto the wall. So yes, stand by and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so that's sort of what I mean. So you see this is going to be flat against the wall here, and then we'll mount these to the wall by simply going through, you know, screwing directly through here. We can even put some big washers if we need to. I don't think we'll really need to, but we'll dig through the hardware bin and we'll do the same thing on the bottom. The shelves will obviously lay flat and we'll just put them wherever we think we need them. And yeah, you might be looking at this going, man, this guy stinks. You know, look at this. Look at this. This is the worst one. But this doesn't have to be pretty. This is these were cut in the Home Depot parking lot in about 0.1 seconds. And yeah, it'll be plenty strong enough to hold some tools, some spray cans, some various things, and it'll fit. Next order of business is going to be, let's get one of these 2x12s. They're 8 feet long, so we'll cut them in half, basically almost exactly in half, and see how it fits. And then yeah, pretty much done at that point. Alright, as you probably just saw, that went terribly wrong. Apparently I've completely forgotten how to use a level properly, and eyeballing it did not get me close enough. But I think this is good enough for my purposes. I'm thinking about, you know, I did the old weight test here. I'm definitely a little scared, but what I could, you know, there's not really going to be a lot of heavy stuff on this anyways, but one way to improve this would be take some of those 2x4s and put them under here on each of these 2x6s. So I may just do that, but I want to just get it up there and see how I feel about it so far. All right, so pretty unfortunate that I had that on time warp mode, you know, doing a time lapse, but maybe I could slow it down in post and see what I can see. But let me just walk you through what happened here. You know, I had this balanced on this sketchy thing here. I was trying to use the brad nailer to just kind of pin the corner in so I could step back from it, and I realized a brad nailer is not the greatest option, but I was shooting nails in it, and before I realized the nails were way too short and they were actually serving no purpose. So I went to let go of it, and the whole thing tipped off the wall and went right, narrowly dodging my head. Came back here where I had this Milwaukee pole saw attachment, hit that did a backflip, came flying at me, almost hit me in the gonads, and then this slammed down on my foot, and I'm just wearing sneakers. So, you know, I'm fine, but I wouldn't recommend pretty much listening to anything I say just because it's the kind of stuff I'm getting into, but at least it's a laugh, you know. At least you get to witness some haberdashery, and at least you get to witness how to build a shelf, or basically how not to build a shelf, I suppose. So basically, as it flew off the wall and blew itself apart, I think it was more of a feature instead of a bug, because what this really made me realize was I only put one screw in here, and I put two on that side held together. Meant to put two over here. I was just moving a little too fast, doing it a little quick and dirty, and yeah, so I'm gonna put another screw in there. I'm gonna fix this, make it, you know, pull tight, square it away, and I'm probably just gonna do the exact same thing again, so wish me luck. All right, new and improved setup. Got the single screw holding it in, and this time, instead of on a Wagner Flexio spray painter box, we're on a Milwaukee vacuum, which it's a Milwaukee product, so you know we know it's not going to fail on us. It's quality stuff. So at least it's up there. We're gonna get the level and level it out and see what we can do. This time without getting bonked on the head. All right, well, I got absolutely no clue where we left off because I almost got bonked in the head, and then I kind of just hustled to get it done. But just to kind of show you where we're at, this is my solution to not being able to access this anymore. And sometimes you can get away with stuff like this, you know. It's nice to have this little 90-degree cabinet installer. I think that's, or what do they call it? Something driver, but yeah, nevertheless, it's nice to have these. You can put the different attachments on them. That's a 90, and they got the little offset 45 and a few other things, you know, quick release 1/4 inch, and then a regular old chuck. But even this couldn't get in there. Installation driver, I think that's what they call it. Even this can't get in this little gap. And there's like, they make little flexible things that might have worked, but this was just the solution I came up with. Because this is on the window anyways, it kind of kicks the whole thing out. So I had some 3/4 ply laying around, and this was just scraps. I got these scraps everywhere, so I wedged some 3/4 ply in here. I used the Tapcons to mount to the block, and then I put the construction screws through the 2x4, and that way it makes it kind of level and holds it real strong. I did that down here and up there. Can't see it right now, but so I mean, this thing's solid. You could hang on it, and it's way more solid for our purposes than we would ever need. I also put some through those 2x4s up there. You can't really see it, but you see, I just kind of wanted to mock it up and see what we were dealing with. Also, my initial plan was to, for the 4x12s, to mount them, I was going to shoot it here through the side. You can see this side is all chewed up, which it's hidden. I don't really care anyways because it's a garage shelf. But initially I was going to just shoot some screws in this way, but again, I can't get in this little tiny gap. So the solution to that was just some scraps I had laying around again, put some construction screws through them, and then I come down from the top, you know, from the top of the 4x12 and do that. So again, this is pretty solid. I mean, I can hang on this thing. I already did the hang test. It didn't fall down, so that's good. So all that's left to do now that it's up here is just make some more 4x12 shelves and space them out how I want them, and that'll be that. And then start cleaning up the mess, because boy is it a mess in here. But I think that's a good spacing. So maybe like 1, 2, 1 on the bottom, maybe 3. I don't know. We'll see. All right, this is just a tip to make it easier to hang these shelves by yourself. What I did was I made these 2 little 3/4 inch ply kind of supports that are both cut the same length, and I can just set the shelf on them and then take one side off at a time and actually put, you know, preload your screws on there, put it up flush, and then zap it in while holding it. See, I got the bottom one done, but yeah, basically just take some scrap plywood. You know, this will work. So I'll just probably finish that cut right there. Find another piece, screw them together, temporarily screw them together, and then you measure like however the spacing you want between your shelves. For me, this first shelf is big, and then these ones are 10 inches. So this is a 10-inch piece of plywood right here, and I cut it together with this one. Stacked 2 of them on top of each other, screwed them together, measured it, cut it at 10 inches, unscrewed it, and then you got one for each side. That way I can just kind of come through and knock that out, put this in, and then just screw it. That way it takes less hands. But yeah, it's coming along. I mean, it's up there now. It is up there. So yeah, I'd call that pretty much done. Obviously I need to get everything on there and organize and whatnot, but you see it fits just about everything. Even the shop vac, the nailers, everything. I mean, it's nice the saws go up there. I probably won't leave the saws up there because I want the shelf space for other stuff. And if you look at it, I'd call that within the realm of level. It's probably not perfectly square, and everything's definitely not straight, and definitely don't look at it with a microscope. But yeah, it really didn't cost that much to make as far as the lumber. I only did need the 2 2x12s, as long as you get the 8-footers. And if you want more shelves, you're gonna need more, but for the 4 shelves I have on here, 2 2x12s that's the most expensive part. You know, you get the 2x6s, and the 2x4s are basically negligible. A couple bucks for the 2x4s, but yeah, I mean, I think this will last a really long time. I can hang on it, and you know, I say this is cheap, but also it's 2025. So in lumber prices in 2025, this is like basically 10 grand worth of lumber right here. So yeah, it might be easier just to buy something off Alibaba or AliExpress, and it may stay together a week, but this will stay together a long time. So sitting here looking at this monstrosity I created while I'm cleaning up, it brings up another great talking point. What that means is I'm going to ramble on about something that probably nobody cares about, but I just wanted to say that when you're building something, especially something like this, you're just slapping it together with wood or really any material, but when you're building something, you don't have to be an expert, and you genuinely don't have to know what you're doing. I just came up with this as I was going. I didn't make a plan. You see some people, they're real meticulous, and it's good. It's really good to make out a little diagram and CAD and, you know, do everything and measure stuff out. But if you're anything like me, and 1, you don't have a lot of CAD skills, and 2, you find it hard to be patient and learn that kind of thing, you can just start doing stuff, and sometimes it does work out. The more you just start doing stuff, the more it will work out. So, and at the end of the day, like especially something like this, again, somebody could come in here and pick it apart, and I wouldn't even complain because there's 100 ways to skin a cat, right? But at the end of the day, like, you can always put lipstick on the pig. And I know that was 2 sayings back to back, so try to stay with me here, but you can always put lipstick on the pig. I messed this thing up probably 20 times in the process. The whole damn thing fell off the wall. It hurt my foot. It came apart. I mean, this went horribly wrong. But look, as long as you persevere and as long as you're determined, you will win. You will come up with something, whether it's exactly what you thought it was going to be, probably not. But as long as you don't get angry, you don't get emotional, you just persevere, and you'll have a piece of crap shelf like this. No, but in all seriousness, I actually really like it. It's perfect. But that's pretty much it. Just if you're watching this and you're like, man, I wish I could do something like that, or man, I wish I could build so and so. Just build it. Just try. Worst case scenario, you're out $50 of lumber, or I guess in today's prices, $10,000 worth of lumber. But who cares? Money, like you'll make more money, so you might as well try. I guess I'll close it off on that. But yeah.